You are live. Nice. All right, let's put the countdown and we'll be back in 30 seconds. There we go. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back to Design System Friday. Man, I'm so excited to be back on the show. This is like one of my favorite shows. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I love it. I mean, I enjoyed the past couple of weeks working on the select component and just trying to, add value to the community one week at a time. I think it was awesome.
Yeah. This is live streaming driven development, right? We are we're basically like putting ourselves live in order to deliver more. Not that we're not working behind a camera, we do, but it's a different. It's an additional push to get stuff out. Awesome.
Totally. Totally.
All right.
Yeah,
So
so what are
today,
we doing today?
yeah, we are going to continue with the select component that we started. Just a brief recap. We started off with Figma, FigJam, sorry, where we outlined all of the states of the select component, all of the transitions, what the context would contain, the data, etc. Then we did another live stream where we started outlining the HTML and CSS and just a little bit of JavaScript for the select component. We also did integrate Zag.js into our select component, which enabled us to do the whole logic and behavior of the component. And today we are planning to push hard and just get it out to the world, right? So we do need to add some styling. If we don't end up finishing the select component, great news. We have another live stream to do. So so that's what's up.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, so I think the goal and expectation for those that are joining us, thanks for joining us, thanks for watching the stream. We've done two live streams in the past for the select component, so this is part three. Feel free to go check out the other videos, part one and part two. I think those are like very crucial prerequisites to actually like follow along. But hey, I mean, if you already like followed along and you just want to like learn what we're doing, feel free to just like stay with us. We'll try to make sure this is not boring for you at least. We'll do our best to carry along.
Exactly.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
so
So let's get started with just continue working on the select component. You can share my screen.
nice. There we go.
Okay. Just a heads up if this is legible. Is it Laza?
It looks fine to me. Yeah.
Okay, I think. Okay, yeah, I think you can edit now. That is awesome. All right, so just a quick recap to where we stopped the other day. I think if I take a look at the code, it feels to me like we've got like the focus management looking pretty interesting. So focus moves now to the correct element. But a couple of things are still not working. So the only thing I know I can do right now is to open up the select, nothing else.
Yep.
So let's check out the machine and see where we stopped. Right. So right now we've got like the closed state. I think that is the idle state. When we click in, goes to the open state. Focus goes to the focus state. Focus, when you press the enter key or the trigger key, it opens up. On where we stopped earlier, we did like when it opens up, we want to set the initial focus. So that whole logic, I think we stopped around this area the other time. So let's this is looking like quite a lot of code after 2 weeks. But let's try to see how we can refactor this pretty quickly. All right, so we've got like focus next option, which I think is about everything, and then set initial focus. Set initial focus is basically what sets the initial focus of that. So we say if there's an option already focused, we're going to focus on that, or we're going to focus on the list box. Right, and that's exactly what we did here. So before we go ahead to implement other actions, let's just try to clean up all this mess because I really believe like it will help us avoid weird code in the end.
Hmm.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file. So this is a general convention I tend to follow. I call it select.dom.ts.
Okay, I
This
see.
this is basically where I write all the methods that would need to interact with the DOM.
Hmm.
Right. So if I one method is basically I'll just call it get by ID. Right. And I can provide the machine context. Obviously not context from React, but like this the machine context. And here we've got types. So the other thing I tend to do is to move this out to like a select dot types dot
Yeah, into its
ts.
own file.
Yeah, so we can export out like that is the machine context, and maybe just call this like machine context and machine state, so it's
Hmm.
kind of clear what it does. And then we can clean up this machine by getting rid of all this. So do you want to do that for us?
Of course, yeah. So this is the machine. We can just scrape these, like import the stuff that we just created. So that would be select dot types, and inside we have the machine context, we have the machine state, and what else did we have? Option.
Option, yeah, I think it's just option.
Nice. Okay. So
Awesome. So let's
machine
replace this one.
state.
Machine context. Yep.
We have the option as well. I'm not sure. Current
I
option
don't.
is this.
I'm not sure
Get
if we're using
element by
that right
ID.
now. Yeah, we're not using that right now. So let's just skip that one.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So we come back again to the select DOM. So here, what we really need is the machine context, and you give me an ID. So the context will be a very, very popular reference as we go. It's just like, and the reason why this is happening is like most of the arguments in the machine actions, and even the guards, the first argument there gives it's actually the context. So context and event are the two popular arguments you see us use as we write all these implementations. So
Hmm.
that makes it really crucial to at least have the context around every single time. We could do without the context though, but I'll explain why we need that as we go.
Hmm.
Right, so we do document that get element by ID, and we put that. So that is how we get an element by ID
Yeah.
within the machine, right? And then we go again into the machine to figure out like what methods did we have to write inside this code, and we can literally just abstract that.
Hmm.
One of those is get list box element, right? So we can come here and say get list box element. Again, passing the machine context, and then we do document the get element by ID list box.
Yeah, because it's always, yeah, we don't need to pass the ID. We know the ID of the list box.
Exactly. In the end, we have to figure out how to pass in the ID because not all selects will have the same ID. ID is meant
Yeah.
to be unique. That's why I put the context here, which would most
Hmm.
likely talk about a dynamic bit later on. So that is it. So we have a method here to give us the list box. And I think one of the things we need to sort out is the fact that doing a get element by ID could sometimes return null
Hmm.
in there. So we want to make sure that that's actually an element, right? So without the list box, we don't have a select at all.
Yeah.
All right, so I will just come here and just like grab the element. Let's just do the list box. All right, and we can just see if I don't get the list box, it's actually very crucial. Nothing is gonna work here. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say like could not find the list box element.
Yeah.
We figure out like more helpful messages to provide there later on, and I just return out that element because this is actually very crucial.
Yeah. But it makes sense to throw, right? Because
Yes, it
it's
does.
that kind of a situation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that kind of situation. So at least the trigger and the list box are required are things that we really need to have for all this to make sense.
Yeah.
And then we see here that we've got like a query selector as well, which is more like finding the first option, or finding all the options, stuff like that.
Hmm.
You've also got a query selector all to get all the options. So I'm gonna grab that one
Yeah.
and just do get option elements, right? Again, I'll still provide the machine context. We get the reason why, and there we've got like the list box.
Yeah. We'll
We get
just
the list
use
box.
our own. Yeah.
We use whatever like we just provided, and then we can use that list box query selector all, and then return options. So we can easily just like return this one
Yeah.
and good to go.
Nice.
Now the reason why this is awesome is because like we can decide in the future. I think something we could also do now to omit disabled options from the list of elements.
Hmm.
All right, so that we can do like we could consider doing like any element that does not maybe data disabled.
Yeah. Does not contain that attribute.
Yeah, does not have that attribute. We can just like omit them from the query
Hmm.
and move on. So this is it here. We've got our one. I think we've got like get first option.
Hmm.
Right. So this is something we also need to figure out. At what point? How do we get the first option? How do we get the last option? These are all methods we have to write to make that like how do we get the next option,
Yeah. The whole navigation. Yeah.
your navigation. So this way our machine code is way lighter, and we've got that separation of concern within our code.
Hmm.
We don't mess up the machine code with like dumb stuff. And if you ever wanted to maybe support a different framework, it's just about swapping out this object with whatever the new framework is, and we're good.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got all of this. We've got like the get option elements, get first, get last. So let's do the first one and the last one if you want to
Hmm.
help us with that.
Okay.
All right, so I think we've got get option elements. So we can at least, of course, query selector could be expensive, but we can just grab the first one from there or do a list box query selector.
Yeah. So we'll
Yeah,
obtain the list box first. Get list box element. We'll pass the context, right? And then we can return the list box dot query selector, just not all, but the first one, right? So it returns the
yeah,
first occurrence where the role is set to an option, and it doesn't contain the data disabled attribute, right?
yep, exactly. That's it. And
Awesome.
then for the last one, we cannot do without calling query select. We cannot do
Mm-hmm.
it. Well, we could actually just do like maybe last child or last of type with a single query.
Yeah.
Um,
So something like last of type. Was it the last dash of dash type
yeah,
or
I think
just
we can try.
last?
We could try this directly in the DOM and see what happens. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna zoom in here. Let's see what happens here when I try to query for I've got here the positioner. I've got the list box. Let's just try and write the query
Yeah.
on this node right here. So if I do $0 dot query selector, then I try to say role equals option, and
The other
then let's
one.
just do last word again, last child.
There we go.
And if you do last of type, I think that also works actually. So
Yeah.
last of type, last child, same. It all results in the last element. Yep.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead.
Awesome. All right. So we got the query now to return the last one.
Okay, cool. So what the next thing I want to do is this is going to be an interesting one, which we've got the current ID,
Hmm.
and I want to get the next and the previous item from there.
Yeah.
So let's try that.
Of
I
course, we want
believe
to
we
get
need
the
to. I believe
these
we want to
values.
get all the elements. To be honest.
Hmm. And like find the index of the element that is that one, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So let's
So
just
we
do
got the
get all the option elements, and then just give me.
yeah. We can do like options equals dom dot get option elements. We'll pass the context, and these are all of the enabled options, right? We want to
Yep.
find the current index, so that would be options dot index of, but we cannot actually. We can
We need
define
the
index.
yeah. We need to find the index of that element. Yep. So we can
With
check
the
if the element ID. Yep, that makes sense.
yes element ID equals to the current ID that we have from the actual actual function. Then
Yep.
we need to return the options current index plus one wait a minute. This might go out of
This might
bounds.
yeah, this might get out of bounds. So we need to sort of
Yep.
like guard that, create a new variable, maybe next index, maybe, and figure out how
Yeah.
we want to bound that one.
So the next index, if options dot length is greater than the current index plus one, right?
Yep.
Then the next index will be the first one, the zero.
That's if you want to wrap it anyways. All right.
If we
Do
want to
you
like
want
next
to
index would be the first one, right? Get back
yeah,
to the
that's
first one.
completely up to us to decide. Well let's stick
Yeah.
with that logic for now. Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, it's going to be current index plus one.
Sweet.
Current. Okay, let's fix that. And yeah, now we need to just return options from the next index, and that is the actual option.
Yes, sweet. Let's do the same for previous.
Awesome. So we'll get all the options, we'll get the current index, but instead of doing this, we will say if the current index is 0, then we will return the options.length, right? Otherwise, we'll return current index minus 1, right? So for example, if we are in the first element and we want to
Mm-hmm.
go to the previous one, then the current index would be 0, right? We are focused on the first element. So let's just like
Yes.
get the last one.
Is the last one options.length or options.length minus one? I'm not
Minus
sure.
1.
Yeah.
I think it's minus 1, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Awesome.
I hope this works. Maybe
We'll
plus
see.
1.
We'll see.
Yeah.
No, I think that's fine. That's fine.
I'm not sure if this should be like greater than or like greater than or equal. I'm not sure. Maybe it's
Yeah,
greater than.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So now all of this logic, I mean, fuse. I mean, you see how all of this basically just like flies away, because we no longer need to stress ourselves because we've created that set of DOM utilities that we need.
Yeah.
All right. So the thing we're going to do here now is we're basically going to like get rid of, like, you see current right here. What we do here, we've got the currently focused ID from the context.
Yeah, we can obtain
Um,
that in the machine, right? In the DOM API.
Yeah, so basically we're going to like comment all of this out, get rid of all this code, and now see what that looks like with the DOM API. So the next option is DOM. If Code Sandbox understands what DOM API means here, yeah, let's do select the DOM, grab that DOM utility like so. Then we can do a dot get next option, and then we pass it the context. And it needs the currently focused ID, right? Right. So the assumption that we made is that the currently focused ID would always be available, but
Yeah.
it's not always available. So the question then is, we could figure out like if this is not available, what do we want to fall back to?
Would it make sense if it's not available? If we press get next, it should land on the first element, so we'll just return 0. But if you want to get previous, then it returns the last one. Would that make sense? So we still
Yeah,
have an action,
I
right?
wonder if that is something that we should do. It's probably something we should do here instead. So
Okay.
we don't we need to keep this one completely focused
Hmm.
on just getting the next one, right?
Right. So we
So
can
we
put a
can just
guard
say
here.
like if we've not got that one, we can either throw or just like be quiet about that,
Yeah. Nothing
and
happens,
not do
right?
anything, yeah, or just at least do console one. Cannot find next option element.
Hmm.
Focused ID is no, or is undefined, something like that. Right. So we've got like the next option here, and all we needed to do is just like set that focused ID. So we can say context.focused ID now is equal to next option dot ID.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't really have to do any of this anymore.
Much cleaner.
Much cleaner, easier to understand. And then here we've got like there's this like set initial focus. So
Hmm.
again, what we're going to do is just like figure out. So here we said if there's a focus ID, let's use that focus ID. Otherwise, we switch to we kind of
The whole
switch to
list.
the whole list, right? That's something that we could do. So what we want to do is to like move this this entire thing here, create a method here called get initial focus
Hmm.
element. Pass it the context, and there we go. So we just grab the context, and we're just returning the element mostly. We'll do the focus in the machine. We just want to return. And here where we do document the get element by ID, I've got dom.get by ID. So I'm deferring all of the get element by ID stuff to this method
Yeah.
in the end. And we get to there's actually a reason why we should do that, especially when we get to web components and trying to make this work in web component. It's important that you use the shadow root or the host of that web component as sort of like the instead of using the document as a reference, you want to actually use
Yeah.
the shadow root instead of documents. But before we get into those technical details, let's just update this one as well. Get by ID, passing the context. Yep. All right. So everything looks pretty good. So we're back here in the machine. All we need to do is just we just do a dom.get initial focus element, and we call the focus method.
On it. Right.
And then we just need to pass
Uh,
new context. All right.
Yeah. Just the context.
All
Awesome.
right. So we do the same right here for do the same for the previous focus previous option.
Hmm.
Okay. Now we just do get previous option, and that's it.
Nice. And probably rename instead of next
Oh yeah,
option.
yeah. Go ahead. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Yeah, you can do that.
Previous. Nice.
Sweet. All right, so we've got that one already covered. So let's start again from the open state, or maybe, yeah, the open state is just fine. So in the open state, we set initial focus. I think it's important that we test that it's still working.
There we go.
Yeah, still working,
It's on the
which is
list
good.
box. Yeah.
So the next thing we want to do here is when we're in the open state, the initial focus is set, which is cool. Pressing the escape key should take us back to the focus state. All right, so at least let's get that escape key mechanism working correctly. All right,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll head over here to the application and I can maybe set that here, say on key down. If I've got like the event from there, and if the event the key is escape, I can basically just like send type escape key to the machine. So we're sending that event straight
Mm-hmm.
into the machine, and the machine knows that it's going to take us into the focus state.
Nice.
So we come here again and test out that interaction. Open, press escape,
There we go.
open, press escape, open, press escape. Nice. All right. So the other thing we can do, is sort of to keep track of the active element. I think that is something that we probably need to check for while we do all these interactions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure I probably want to use this one. Let me just open this sandbox in a separate page, and just keep an eye on document.active element.
Okay.
So if I do this, we see that the active element is the list
This
box.
box.
If I press escape, the active
Back to
element
body.
is back to body, and that's not the case. We really want to keep the active element on the trigger
Mm-hmm.
in this
On the
case.
select button. And, yeah.
Yeah, or the select button, exactly. So here again, what we say is like when I get into this state,
Yeah.
I just want to do like focus. I don't know if you call it trigger or button, one of those.
Focus. Or just like
Focus
focus
button.
trigger.
See what we called it in the app itself. I think it's called what's the button?
There it is.
Trigger.
Trigger. Yeah.
All right, so focus trigger. Um, and that sounds weird. Focus trigger. It's like, okay, is that the trigger element or are you trigger? I mean, something's going on there. But we can figure out the better name later on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the focus trigger. Again, ideally, what I really love to do is basically to do a dom.get trigger element, but that does
Yeah.
not exist. And then just call the focus method on that
Focus.
one. So let's switch over here, and you can help us implement that. Basically, that's the method.
Yeah. Okay. So let's obtain the focus machine context. Obtain the context, and we can say return dom.get. I'm not sure if it's get by ID. Let me check. What did we
Yeah,
have
let's
on the
see.
button?
We don't have an ID for
We
the
don't.
button, but let's
We
give
have
it an ID.
parts.
Let's give it an ID.
Okay, we could like do the data parts, but yeah,
Now
let's give it
imagine
an
if you had
ID.
multiple selects on the page. That could
Yeah.
they've got many data path triggers. So let's just see the ID. Yeah.
Okay. So get my ID. We want to pass the context, and the ID was trigger. Let's see exactly. So that's what we want to return.
Sweet. That was easy.
Okay.
So yeah, so we've got here the trigger element. You can see here it tells
Potentially
me
have
that
been
that
null.
could return null. I think we should throw because the
Mm-hmm.
trigger element is very, very important for the select to make sense.
Yes.
So
So
we
trigger
want
equals
definitely throw
that.
there.
If we don't have the trigger, then we will throw raise hell. Throw new error. Could not find the trigger elements. Otherwise, return trigger and we are happy.
Sweet. All right, so that sort of like it gets us pretty far, and then we come back here again, reload the page just to be sure everything's working. Open up the select and hit escape.
Nice. There we go.
Open up select, hit escape. Takes us back there, which is awesome. All right, so the next thing we want to try to focus on now is making sure like we've got like keyword navigation set
Mm-hmm.
up correctly. All right, so if you look at here in the open state, we've got like on click. I think that's working pretty well. Escape is working now. We'll figure out the blog later on. Let's focus on the arrow keys. Let's focus on the arrow key navigation, which I think all the way here. Let's try to sort of like cover all these transitions.
Yeah.
So we start with the arrow down, which is focus next option. Just move that up. Focus next option. I think you've got that one sorted.
Yeah.
But we
We're
said that
only
like
changing the context dot focused ID. Should we do the like set timeout and then do the focus on the element itself, or it's enough just to set the focused ID?
it might be enough just to set focus ID.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see, what strategy do we have here? Yeah, we've got a roving tab index. I think we can easily react to that
Mm-hmm.
and focus. I'll also show you how to set up those reactions. So we only keep focus ID as the key information. Every other thing is more like a use effect synchronization. So when the focus ID changes, focus on the option. So it's not
Yeah.
exactly an action that needs to happen. It's
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
like
It's
a
like
reaction to some changes in value, like the
exactly.
focus ID. Right. So here we've got like arrow down, focus next option. I think we have that implementation. But I remember we talked about the fact that like if we don't have a focus ID, we want to actually focus the first one.
Yeah.
So
Like
let's
as
set
a
up
fallback.
yeah, let's set up those branches here. So we set up like a guard and say like I mean has focus option.
Mm-hmm.
And here I mean as a fallback here we just like focus first option.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Now I remember that we could actually provide two actions, one with a guard, one
Yeah,
without. So this, yeah,
exactly. So now we come here in the guard and we just write like, what does it mean if we say like has focus option?
yeah,
So we could just return, I mean, a boolean that represents like, I mean, context dot focus ID. That's how we know if there is a focus option.
totally awesome. But wait,
Now,
did we have some leftover in the machine in the bottom as well? Yeah, right here. We have the focus
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
previous
yeah. Yeah, let's go.
and
Let's
the
clean that up.
next.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we're not gonna warn, we're not gonna do anything, right? And we know that the focused ID uh is going to
Yeah,
be
I guess I just put that there just in case we run into any weird scenario. We can at least see the warning.
mm-hmm.
In the browser, so
Well,
we know that we've hit a weird spot.
should we keep it then?
Let's keep it for now. I mean,
Okay.
we could remove that when we're
Yeah.
done. Awesome. So I think we can literally do the same to cover this arrow up as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do like guard again as focus option, and then we basically do what we want to do, which is focus previous. Come on option. Then we can just like format this nicely. And this is
Nice.
focus last option. Yeah. And then the really
Wait,
cool
wait.
part. Yeah.
Arrow
What's that?
down. Arrow down is the first. Yeah. Arrow up is the
Yeah, I
yeah.
think it's
Is the
correct, right?
yeah.
All right. So let's put this to a test to figure out like what we need to do.
Do
So we've
we?
got
We don't have the events,
yeah,
right?
we don't have the event, so we have to figure out how to send events. Yeah, that was me thinking it just works automatically. Um, right, so we come here and basically figure out like what we need to do here. Yeah, go ahead. I think you can help for sure. Let's
Okay,
do that.
yeah. So we could else if this, right? If the event dot key equals to arrow up, is that the actual event name?
I think it's arrow up.
Okay. Yeah, we want to send the arrow up event, right? Same goes of the arrow down.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, now that
So
is working.
another thing we can do is maybe we can basically just create like a key map
Yeah.
object that basically maps all those. So it's kind of easy to walk through all the different scenarios. So I'll grab
Mm-hmm.
the key from the event, and then we can create like a key map of like every different possible keys. So if we do escape here, obviously
Mm-hmm.
this might not be like the best typings ever. But let's just put here a record string of a keyboard event handler. Um, and then we do like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we need any of this. But we do like arrow up. And there we send this one. And then we do arrow down. And then we send that one. So it's kind of like easier to
Yeah,
hide
without the ifs and
multiple
else.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just
So
call
we can
the.
just do like maybe just go like exec and just do a lookup of the key map against the key,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can call that with the event.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah, the
we
reason
don't
why
need
this
if and
is
passive, but still, yeah.
yeah, we do need because like if we do like it's up to
Oh.
us if you want to actually like prevent the default action at this point. Or we
Mm-hmm.
could do like below that, we could do like event or prevent default. Let's just say
Uh-huh.
if exec invoke that and then do event or prevent default. So the
Okay.
default stuff does not happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so so this kind of like I mean would probably be a much cleaner way. I think we need one more for tabs for the tab key. So let's just add the tab key so we don't have to come back here again.
Yeah. Okay, so that would be just
Tab.
tab.
And we send I think that's just like tab maybe.
Just tab or tab key. Let's see. When we are open, we have arrow down, blur,
And tab key is the last
and
one.
we have
Yeah,
a
it's
tab.
just tab.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
Nice. So yeah, that's it. So we're back here now in the machine. Let's reload the page and just test it. Like we've got so I'm pressing arrow down now and arrow up. We can see that that is sort of like working. The event is sent is sort of being sent, but we're not getting any results in the
Yeah.
context. Focus ID is still no.
No.
So let's figure out like what the issue may be. So we've got here most likely this is so arrow down in the open state has got me focus next option or focus first option. Okay, so here we go. We've got this weird arrow up key. Let's just rename this to arrow up, arrow down. Something's not working here, which is focus. I think it's the focus first option that's not working. We don't have an implementation for that one. That's why it doesn't work.
Nice. Okay.
Only get like focus previous, focus next.
Yeah.
So we need to put like focus first and focus last. You can do that for sure.
Okay. Let's get the focused first option. We're not gonna have a focused ID right now because of the guard, but we can say first option equals dom get first option. Here's the context, and we can set timeout. We can also like do it one line
Yeah, for sure.
here and just do dot focus, but
Yeah,
this
that may
could
not
be
exist. Yeah.
null.
hmm
And focus is now complaining. Does not exist on type element.
Yeah, so typically the query selector type is a little gets really weird sometimes. So you have to pass that generic
Oh,
HTML element.
yeah.
So I'll just do that so we get the correct type on
Yeah.
all
It's fixed on this
elements.
end now.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. As the first one, we also want the last option. And we'll just change the first to last. That's it. Oh, wait. Guess the
yeah,
last
I
option.
catch that one as well. That one is also a generic problem.
There we go. Okay, let's check it out now. Hey, nice.
All right, so we've got that. At
We
least
have a different
works.
issue now.
We have a different
It
issue now.
works.
Yeah. So at least we see up and down working, but for some reason the going next and going previous it's not working. That's because we don't see a focus ID
Mhm,
being set. I think the reason why this happens is because we actually should not have to do like a focus
mhm.
directly here. What we really want to do with all this work that we're doing here is set the context focus ID
To
um,
the first option, yeah.
to the first option, that one.
And then do
So
the reaction thing, right?
yeah, and then do the reaction thing exactly. So we just do that ID. Then we can comment that one out for now. We can do the same. This here could be null. So let's just say that if there's a first option, we can do that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So here, let's just get rid of all this. So now we may not see focus move. I mean, as it used to, but at least we should see. I think we should clean them all up, right? I think.
Oh
Okay,
wait.
you did that already.
Something happened, like it it worked but it crashed.
Did it?
It works but it doesn't work on the next one. See? This this crashes. Like check it out. Click on the select and go up and just like up up up. It's gonna work. But if you press down, it crashes on that line on 134, I think.
Yeah. Then let's see. Like previous is definitely working well. I think it has to do with the logic we've got in it down.
Yeah.
It's like options dot length minus one and all those weird things. Let's review that again.
But yeah, it should be the next option, right? Because that is the arrow down is the next option. So let's see. Options dot length is greater than the current index. Even if I'm at the first one,
I
it's
think
still
it's
not going down. Current ID. So give me the all of the options. Give me the current index. I don't know. Let's log it out. Here we go. Okay, let's hit refresh. 0. Okay, so the current index is 0. Then I believe the next index should be 1 if I just press down twice. 1, 2.
nope, zero.
Nope, it's 0 again.
Yeah, so it
Dumbass.
has to do with this that logic there.
Yeah. Options dot length is greater than current index.
Of course, options that length. Oh, I think it's the other way around, right? If like current index plus one is greater than
Yeah.
yeah.
If the current index is greater than options dot length, then we want to get it to 0. Hey, nice. And then we crash
And then we
again.
crash again.
Okay,
So that
nice.
is like
Minus 1, I guess. Length
I'll just
minus
do
1.
equal to maybe.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. Now let's go up. Nice.
Yeah, that's
All
awesome.
good in Chakraland.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and it's actually working pretty nicely. If I've got the focus option, I hit escape. Um, and I press escape and I continue on. It somehow just like continues from there. We'll figure out how to work out those logic. But
Mhm.
I think it's keyboard navigation as far as this is like just navigating here
Yeah.
works pretty good.
We're also missing one more implementation for the select focused option. Should take a look at that.
Oh yeah, for let's see. Yeah, that's like the trigger. So we just finished the keyboard interactions,
Mm-hmm.
which is arrow down, arrow up. We've got like key press, which is also another one we need to think about.
Yeah.
Um, let's okay. Let's just follow carry on with this logic. So let's assume click, we actually press enter. What we want to do is to select that focus option.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we do that? So selecting the focus option, we've got the details of the focus option. So let's try and see if we want to do the implementation, what that looks like. Clean up all this, and then we do that one.
Okay.
I think we've definitely got like the focus option already. So what we really need to do is basically just give me the details of that focus option.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe we could optimize this later on, but let's just say focused option. We can do like a dom.get by ID and pass in context of focus ID.
Focus ID. Yeah.
All right.
Null again.
So
Okay.
so here now we just need to check, figure out like what do we do when there is no focus ID.
But we're trying to set the focused option. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just be quiet for now,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's just see what we've got here. So now that I've got the selecting the focus option, we've got the node here. What we want to do with that node. If you take a look at the app, one of the things that we did the other days was like we set a couple of things in there. We've got label, we've got value. I think that's about it. So we've got the label and the value. We've also got the ID.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of things we can do is construct like a callback, or so let's construct the details of that event.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say the label. Um, Again, if we don't have a focus option from here, let's just be quiet. We figure out what we want to do again later
Yeah.
on. So here we can sort of destructure out from focus option a data set. So let's just grab all the data attributes that's attached to that. So we've got label, we've got value, obviously we've got ID. So create a label, value, ID. ID maps to focus option ID. All right. So right now I can just do a log of let's just log out the details. Okay. So we clear the console, reload, and then we just do like open that, navigate, press enter.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. So that means that we haven't sorted out the enter
The key.
key
Yes.
in here. So let's send that into the machine.
It's just enter, right?
I think it's
No?
called trigger key.
Trigger. Trigger key. Let's see again. We are in the
Yep.
opens. On trigger key, we go to the focused one, but we do the selects. Nice. There we go.
Can you see that in the
Option
console?
3. Yes, option 3. Value is 3 and the ID is also 3.
Awesome. Right. So that is how we can design. That's how we can design all the details of the of the option that we selected. The other thing that you notice here now is this is some sort of like DOM operation, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to do is basically just like we can abstract this one out from here.
Yeah, move it in our API, right? Get.
In there, we can say
Yeah.
get option details, and now I don't think we need a context. We just need some sort of HTML element,
Hmm.
and we can just pull all those details from that element, right? So I do option here, pass in all the options like so. And
Nice.
now I can get these details at any point in my machine. So all of these can just be swapped out with DOM get option details and pass in the focus option.
Yeah.
All right. So the question now is, what do we really want to do though when a value is selected? Now, one thing we could do is, I know we've got like in our machine context type, we've got selected option which matches that API there. You see?
Yeah.
So
We
we
can put
could
it in the context. Yeah.
you could just put it in the context directly. So here we can do, if we go all the way down, we can just do like context select the option. We just put all the details right there. I don't think they match one to one. Um, these, let's just deal with this data. It says this could be undefined, but I think we're pretty sure that it's most like it's definitely going to be there. All right, so we can. Oh yeah, the option type is there. I think it's, we can definitely just cast this option type for now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's cast that type like so.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we sort of got like the option detail. So when we select an option detail, we put that on context. We definitely want to consider doing things like invoke on select. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
imagine if the user wants to know when an option has been selected. This is a good time to actually do that.
Yeah. Wait, before we go there, we casted the option as an option, right? But I think there's like could potentially be a mismatch because in the option type we have the label and value as strings, but when we try to obtain them from the data set, they could be undefined as well.
Yeah, so I mean, in my mind, it sort of depends on how we choose to structure out this. In the
Mm-hmm.
app, we know that we are very certain that label and value, I mean, will
Will
always be
always
there.
be, yeah.
Yeah, so that is, I mean, that's something we should keep in mind, I think. So it's kind of fine. If we run into
Yeah.
error, runtime issues, we can figure out what to do there.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So now if we attempt to
Hit enter.
do that and hit enter, we should see that value in there in the machine, right? And see that
Yeah.
the label also changes to option 3.
Oh wait, there's an SVG issue.
Yeah, let's fix that
So
SVG. That's coming from the select icon, right?
where is that?
Correct. Right here.
Carrot. Yeah, carrots.
Now let's just check. Yeah, that one is fine. This is also fine. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So let's reload here.
Oh, where
Do
is it
some
though?
interaction. Enter.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so there we go. We've got sort of like replacing the value, the rendered value with the actual selected option, which I think we did automatically in the machine with this computed property.
Mm-hmm. We're missing the click now.
Yeah, we get there. We get there for sure.
Okay.
Um, so now the next thing, obviously, we talked about using the enter key to select. What happens when I click the
Pointer.
option?
Yeah.
So I mean, so here we've got uh, click in the open state. I think we sort of need to separate like clicking on the trigger from clicking on
Yeah.
the option. All right. So what we want to do here is maybe we just like say like trigger click or something like that. Um, so that's kind of clear. So I'm going to update this one and maybe update events in the app also.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just do like trigger click here. So in the app, maybe we should also update the events that is sent trigger click.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now because we've got like trigger click, and that makes sense. Let's figure out let's figure out what we want to do here.
Sure.
So like when we click on the option, right? So it's the option click. Yes, the question is what do we want to do when we click on an option? Most
I
likely we want to
guess.
go to the focus state. Exactly the same thing as that like enter key though.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Do we want to
is
go
what's
to the?
that?
Yeah, we want to go to the focus state. Yeah, we want to close the drop down. We don't want to keep it open, unless we're in a multi-select, but we're not in a multi-select. So.
Yeah. So see here, we could. I mean, for now, we could just copy paste that one.
Mm-hmm.
Completely fine. And then we do an option click.
Okay.
Let's go. So that works the same way. So let's head over to the app now and tweak the. So in my mind, one of the things I like to do is sort of like figure out figure out if you want to keep the event listener on the option or
Mm-hmm.
on the container.
Okay.
Keeping in mind that we could have like multiple, thousands and thousands of options in there.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want to register the click event here.
Yeah, so let's just use delegation and just like delegate that
Yeah.
up.
So we can click here, even though it's on the list item element, the event is gonna bubble up, and its parent is gonna catch it.
Yes.
Awesome. There is also no other, like there are no pixels inside of the list box that if we click on them will not result in an
Yeah.
item. So
Well,
everything is an item, right?
no, not really. I think we could make maybe we could be a bit more sophisticated there
Yeah.
and assume that. Imagine if we've got like an input field that filters the options.
Yeah.
And in
Or
that
look at
case, we
the
actually
dividers and etc. that you cannot select. Okay. So
yeah. So
when we click,
let's
we'll just get the event, right?
yeah
We
we
can
get
do if
the
the
target. Yeah.
event dot current targets. Now we want to check, right, if the type of the current target is the li, or like we could do,
Data part.
yeah, att attributes, right, has attributes,
Yeah, has attributes.
not has
I
attributes.
think we
Oh.
could do like I think another API we could try is matches. So we can actually use a
Oh, matches,
selector
yeah.
in there. Yeah.
Nice, even better. Yeah. So we can do data part equals option. Then we want to send the option click, right?
Yeah. So
Nice. Okay.
the I think another thing we could do here is let's just grab the target. We could do
Okay.
like event.target. Instead of current target actually refers to the list box itself.
Okay. Yeah.
So we want to do like let's grab out the target from there and say if the target actually matches that one. There's a thing where we have to check like if the target is it's an instance of HTML element just to be sure that we can actually call that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can check if it matches that. Or let's see what we could do here. Trying to figure out if there are other naive use cases we could have.
Okay.
I think we
Something
can keep it.
happens.
Let's see.
Are you testing it out?
No, no, I'm actually just thinking through to see if there are any other details. But I think this. Let's just sort of like stick to this for now.
Okay.
So we've got like the ID, the element that has been clicked. Because we don't want to assume that like you have to hover on it before you click on it, or you have to use the keyboard before you click on it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just assume that when we've got that click event, we can read out the ID from that target,
Mm-hmm.
and we can send a type option click
And then
and
also
pass
send
along
the,
the ID of that element that was clicked.
yeah. But then we need to also, when we are going to handle, or we do have the select, where is it? Set focused option. Is that what we're calling? set focused option. Yeah, but we only get the
Select
context.
select focus option. Yeah, we've got like we've got access to the event as well. Right. So we
Hmm.
could do like the ID here is the let's start with the event.id,
Yeah,
and then fall back on the context.focus ID.
context.
And then if there's no ID after all of that, then we can
Then of course, yeah, return. But is it gonna be like event.id? How do this gets parsed? Right, we are sending.
here.
This is the
Say,
event.
yeah, that exactly is the event. Yes.
Yeah, awesome,
So we're just grabbing the ID from that event and just using that directly there.
nice. Okay, let's check it out now. Option three.
I don't think it's done yet. Let me just confirm
Yeah,
that.
something's weird. Yeah.
Let's check again. So we've got this. Yeah, it's not clicking. I think we just have to
No,
check. We
check it
just have
out.
to.
It's first one is not clickable. Second one is not. Third one is not. But if you click on the fourth one, it actually is. So can you try that?
No, it's
Go to
actually not.
three, two, like try clicking on all of them. Like there we go.
Okay. Okay.
So it I'm not sure what it is, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
does
yeah, that makes
work in
sense. That
some.
makes
Yeah,
sense
in
actually.
some. Yeah.
So what we want to do is we've got the target. I think target is a little bit tricky because if you click on a text, the target is actually that text, not the
Okay.
element we're looking for. So maybe we
Yeah.
should try like we can try the closest one,
Okay.
right?
Does
So
that include siblings or just ancestors?
that could, yeah, the ancestors mostly.
Okay.
So we're sort of like looking for that like closest, the closest ancestor that is an option. Yeah, this was what
Yeah.
AP was trying to think about. And if that matches out, then we can actually grab the. So let's just do like option. Is that one? I
Okay.
think we somehow still need to do that thing there. Um, return a null there. And then if you've got that option, uh, if you've got that option, then we can grab the option ID. Now it should at least help us figure out if we're doing the correct thing or not. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, this
Everything
was a
works.
closest API I was looking for actually,
Yeah.
because before what happened is if you clicked on the container,
Mm-hmm.
it will somehow work, but if you clicked on the text itself, the target is actually that text node.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So you've got to like go out of the text node to figure out if there's actually like a containing option somewhere, and use that
Mm-hmm.
option as the basis.
And this is important because right now we are building a custom dropdown, right? Which means users can add anything inside, right? They can also
Exactly.
even have other buttons. Would that be an issue?
Yeah, that would not be an issue.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
they'll.
at least from the click handler, that's not an issue. We have to think about the key down as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I've got stuff like say an input element and I press key down,
Yeah.
in that input element, even though it's not part of the select, do I want to participate in that key down, or
Yeah.
do I want to bail out? Something we need to think about.
Mm-hmm. But right now we're, for example, if we're using the arrows, we're only focused on the options. We don't care about any other elements like that could be focusable, as you mentioned. Like if it's select something and there's like a thousands of options, and the users put a little input, like
Yeah,
search or filter the options.
yeah,
If we go down, if we like hit arrow down, I believe we just wanna go to the first option and just like jump over the inputs.
yeah. That is, I think when we get to those complex scenarios, we can fix it. But I do think there's some things we need to do with the key down here,
Yeah.
because like for example, if I've got an input in that drop down, and the
Mm-hmm.
input has autocomplete. When the autocomplete shows up, I want to press arrow down to select the autocomplete from the browser or
Mm-hmm.
from one password or stuff like that. That is going to interfere with our own logic in there. So are we going to execute both of them, or are we going to like shun off the browser autocomplete and just use the select? how do we coordinate external stuff along with this?
Okay,
So
good point.
so
Yeah.
yeah, those are things we have to think about. But let's not get all geeky on that one until we get there at least. Okay, so we've got like all of the selections done. I would let's see if there's anything I'll do here. I think this is pretty okay. All right, so let's come back here to the machine and figure out what other branch did we not have we not implemented yet. So we've got here key press. We've got arrow up in the focus state. I think this one is pretty easy, but I think we need to figure this one out as well. Um, if I've got like if a selected option like this,
Okay, and hit down, right?
and I maybe open it up or hit down, like what should be the focused option?
Yeah. If we have it, yeah, good point. Maybe we should like,
Maybe we should start from the selected one
yeah,
because right now the
yeah.
navigation will start all the way from the beginning again.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably want to like start from option three. If we want the navigation to start from option three instead.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, we should do that. Yeah. And what if we're like in a focused state and we hit down? We should be at least in the open state, right?
Yeah, we should be at least in the open state. I mean, what gets selected, what gets focused initially is now something we need to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Because here in the open state, I think yeah, it's probably something we missed, honestly. If you see this one, we say set initial
Initial.
focus. I think this logic is a little bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to, right now, we're actually just trying to get an element, which is the focused ID. Um, Maybe we don't need this logic right now. We actually
What if
just want
we?
to set the focus ID in there when we actually open.
Yeah, but
Right. So
when we open, we don't have any focused elements, right? But we do have a selected option.
yeah, so we want to sub like I call it like restore that focus ID.
Yeah. It
Right.
actually
So
works. Like if you click on it, it does work, right? For example, I'm gonna select option 3, and I'm gonna click on the trigger. Oh no, the focused is the focused is 2 again.
yeah, you can see. I think we've got the visualization on the right, so you can actually see
Yeah.
what the focused ID is. The focused ID is actually null, not option three. So we just want to actually restore that
No, you
in
know
there.
what? When we select the item, we should also set that as set its ID as the focused ID. Because, for example, if I'm using just my mouse, if I click on the option one without the keyboard, I can see that the selected option is option 1, but the focused ID is still at option 2, which was
Oh no,
previously.
did you refresh? Can you refresh your browser? Because it seems like it's not working the same way.
Okay, so let's
It's not working the same way here.
hit 3. That's
If you
okay. The focused ID is still null, but if I use my keyboards, the focused ID is changed. Yeah. See, the focused ID gets changed, but if you use your mouse to select option 1 now, you'll set the selected option to 1, but the focused ID will remain to 3. So maybe when
yeah,
we are selecting, we should also set the focused ID.
maybe not actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I mean the setting that focus ID is something that has to do with when we actually open,
Okay.
right? Making sure that I mean this conversation we're having right now is only crucial when it's open, right?
Yeah.
I mean when it's closed and when it's focused, it has nothing to do
There's
with
nothing.
that.
Yeah,
Like
nothing's
yeah.
focused.
Yeah, so it's just like when we actually open, that's where I mean that's one of the things I like about state machines because you can separate out those concerns
Yeah.
instead of having all these weird if soups just to solve a problem. So let's just I mean I doubt that we really need this one here,
Mm-hmm.
but just bear with me. Let's just come here and do like let's just do restore focused ID.
Okay.
Let's just call it restore focus, right? I mean, I don't know. Let's just call it focus option, something like that. Or maybe not. I like focus selected option.
Yeah, because that's exactly what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna grab the
Yes.
selected one and just put the focus on it. Yeah.
Yes. So we do that one, and then we just grab like focus ID equals context. We definitely want to just like, I mean, quit out if we don't have that selected.
Select option. Yeah.
We can just like end it there. And then here we can do context dot selected option dot ID.
Yeah.
So that way we can sort of like restore back that ID. All
There we
right,
go.
nice. But then I think the navigation is weird though. So let me. So for now, you know what I'm gonna do. Um, this one right here. I'm just gonna like leave that out for now and change this one to focus list box. We figure
Mm-hmm.
out how we're gonna like what we really need to do here. This box like so. And here I'll do get list box element instead and call focus on that. So just bear with me. That's not what we're gonna do in the end. But right now I want to just focus on that. So right now, if I click on option 3
Okay.
and I click again, now my focus ID is 3. But if
Yeah.
I press the down key,
Mm.
okay, actually it works.
But it does make
Yeah,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, it actually works. It makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah. The
yeah,
focus is on the list box, but the navigation is much better because the focus outline doesn't really get in the way.
yeah. Doesn't get in the way, and obviously that's because we're using very bold styles for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So here, actually, I mean, I'm really excited about this. It just works, and it updates that correctly. Okay, sweet. So
Nice.
we've got that selection story. And I think there's one edge case you talked about where like when I click with my mouse, focus ID is null.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that is happening because right now we are only setting focus ID with keyboard
Yeah.
only. We
Without
haven't
the
implemented like the pointer enter.
pointer event. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why it kind of feels that way. But if I come right here now and I do like um, focus option, if I do that one now, grab the context and the event. I just set the focus event to the event.id is sent. So let's come here into the code and add that to we can do the same. We can do pretty much the same thing there.
Mm-hmm. But wait, if we say pointer enter on the lists box, then it's gonna happen only once, right?
Yeah, we're not going to do pointer enter actually. We're going to do pointer move.
Pointer move,
Yeah,
and
so
then
that's
if yeah,
so I'll change the name right now in the machine, so it's not like or I can just call it like hover maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, instead of doing like yeah. So let's just do that, and then here in the code, let's do the pointer move. You can help us.
Okay, so we can say on pointer move, we want to get the event, and inside we want to grab the target. We want to check if we're talking
Closest
about
one.
an option, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if also that happens, if there is an option, we want to send the hover event, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we want to send the option ID. Is the machine going to handle the redundant events? Because, for example, if I am focused on one option and I'm just like moving my cursor within the option, right? I'm just like making tiny circles. I'm triggering the pointer move event, but the option is always the same, right?
Yeah, it's always
The
the same. That's
one that
okay.
is,
Yeah,
yeah,
the machine is careful enough to make sure like only when the value changes, that's
yeah,
when it actually updates that.
okay,
So that said, now if we actually come here and just like do that, we expect that we get like consistent behavior
we
between
do.
keyboard and the pointer, and you can see that the event has been sent. If you press click, now it works. If you use keyboard as well to do the interaction, it works
Yeah,
exactly the same way. So now we've achieved that equality between the keyboard and the pointer,
yeah,
which is awesome.
nice.
All right. There's definitely something else we probably have to think about when we get to pointer move, which is the effect of touch. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you want this to react to like my finger moving across the screen, as well when this select is open?
Yeah,
Yeah, but we figure that one out again. Part of the
because there's no
complexities.
hover on mobile, right?
Yeah, there's no hover on mobile, but there's also move. There's like pointer. I mean, your touch is a valid pointer, right? Just
Yeah.
touching on something is valid, and then moving your pointer or moving your finger along the list box is also a valid event.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like
making sure,
touch and drag, basically.
yeah.
That's a
So
valid move.
yeah, we could say like if the pointer type is touch, for example, just I mean, let's not respond to that.
Just
Let's
skip
just
it. Yeah.
respond to like I mean only the click event when you click stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that basically gives us that feature that we're looking for.
Nice.
Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I think we've gotten pretty far. I think we've
Mm-hmm.
got like say 10, 15 more minutes on here. So let's look at this again. We've got all the interactions. We can select an option. This is what most people would traditionally call a select. So it's like, okay, looks like the select is done at this point. But one thing we need to keep in mind is when we are sort of like escaped, whether we are focused or we're out of this. The focus ID is still set. So when we are no longer open, we actually don't care about the focus ID
Mm-hmm.
anymore. Even though we could say, let's just keep that information around. I just like to keep a consistent behavior. Say when we are no longer closed, I don't want that information. I could see the selected
Yeah.
option, but nothing is focused anymore. So I don't need that. I don't need that detail. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so what we could say is like when we're leaving, in any case when we leave this state, which is
Remove the
exit.
focus. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can help us here. You put exit
Okay.
in that node, and we just do like remove or clear. I like to use clear, maybe clear focus option.
Nice. Clear
Yeah,
focused option. Then we
and in
can
there
add it here.
we just add it and just set the focus ID back to
Yeah.
no.
Context focused ID is null.
Sweet,
Okay, now let's check it out. Refresh, select option 3. Focused ID is null.
sweet.
Real nice.
Yeah, so that is kind of like the interaction here, and I really love the fact that we use event delegation because if we have we now it means we can actually have thousands and thousands of options in here, and
It's not gonna start smoking. Yeah.
yeah, it's not going to start smoking.
Okay. Yeah, this is awesome, man.
Yeah, for
Super
sure.
awesome.
So right here we're getting pretty close. We're not there yet, but I think so. The next thing we
Okay.
want to do is let's take on the
Oh,
challenge, right? So I'm gonna pose this one to you now.
okay.
All right, so Lazar is on the hot seat right now. So here in the open state, we've got this tab transition.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can actually get this working. Right, the entire thing, what is going on here is the only thing we probably need to figure out is when you press the tab key, we say here if there's an option in the context called select on tab, it's
Mm-hmm.
basically you can select that focus option and then close out the menu. And then
Okay.
if that is not the case, you just, I mean, obviously close normally.
Just do idle. Yeah.
That's what I do. And just free that. So I think the only thing that's worth implementing here is select on tab. But let's just try to get the tab key working. That is the hot seat challenge.
Okay. So we do send the tab, which is okay. So we only need to focus here. Select focused option is going to be
That's implemented already,
it's
I think.
implemented.
Yeah.
We want to do select on tab, right? And that's a guard.
That's a good. Yeah.
So let's try this. Context, the select on tab must return boolean. So this means that we should return true if there is anything worth selecting. If there's like either if there's like a focused
I think that's
item.
actually like a behavior. I think this should be like a behavior the user wants to configure.
Okay.
So what I would do is I'll just go to the context and just add that like select on tab is boolean. So
Okay.
the
So we
user
can
can
yeah.
pass that. Say I want to select on tab, and I mean the machine can help with that. So I've added that right now
Okay. So
to the
if
tabs.
context.select on tab exists, we can return that.
And we can return true. It just basically needs to return a boolean. That's all. That's all. This entire expression needs to return a boolean.
But what if they don't pass anything? Should we like
And we can return
provide
false.
something else? Yeah.
False.
Oh,
It's either
return
true or
false.
false. That's it. Like I mean,
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
in the end, we probably don't even need this entire expression. We can just like
Yeah.
do a boolean on that.
Yes. So just the boolean of the select on tab. If it's false, then it's gonna be false. If it's null, it's gonna be false. If it's true, that's the only case where the select on tab will return true. Yeah.
Yes. So if we test the interaction now, we see that if we start that navigation and we press the tab key, right now it just closes out on us.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. But then if we go into the app TSX and somewhere in the machine at this point, maybe just like stick to the select machine. Up here, we just do select on tab is true.
Okay.
And then let's test out the interaction. So I do keyboard, I press the tab key. Does not
Mm.
work.
Doesn't work.
Yep. So we have to
It don't
figure
work.
out
Yeah.
um, the event is being
But
sent.
I
I
think
think
this is
maybe
redundant here. Is it actually but it's sending, right? The on key down event does catch the tab key. We
yep.
don't need to do like a blur instead.
We figure out that one. That's a special one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So we want to go to the idle. There's a
That is
guard select
working.
on tab that will return true. So that means select focused option is going to is going to be selected. Let's see. Focused option, focused ID exists. If I hit tab, something happens. So let's go select focused option. We do have it here at the bottom. For example, if the event.id doesn't
Yeah.
exist,
Let's
which it doesn't.
let's check out. Let's log this thing out. I think something is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Figure out what's coming out of there.
Okay. I'm gonna hit refresh. Go to option 4 and hit tab. Null. If the ID is null. Okay, so let's log out the event ID first and then log out the focused ID first. Technically, both of them should be null.
Yeah, I think I have an idea
Undefined
why.
and null. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have an idea why this is happening. So the reason why it's happening is mostly because we are sort of like running this on exit.
Okay, so that happens like first.
Yeah, so that happens
Before.
first before the transition. So you exit a node, you execute the transition actions, and then you
Mm-hmm.
enter the next node. So because of that order, what we want to do is move this from exit.
Is it
Um,
like a
Basically,
like
let's just
enter?
yeah, we can probably just set an entry and enter for like the other stuff instead. Um,
Yeah.
so we just like stick to like that. So we clear it afterwards when we actually enter into these nodes if it
Yeah.
exists. So now we should see that behavior working correctly.
There we go. Yeah, it's It's selecting on tab.
Nice.
Nice.
So select on tab, done. Tab key interaction as well, pretty good. Let's see. The last thing we can implement today is let's try to do the. I mean, I think we've got this thing called key press.
Okay.
This key press transition. I think this meant like when you're sort of like typing into your keyboard and you try to
Yeah.
search for something. I would love to change this to something like type ahead, um, because it kind of like signifies what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Type ahead, um, like type underscore ahead or type
Mm-hmm.
whatever. That works. That works. So like so the idea here is basically we when that type ahead happens, we want to figure out if it's a printable character, and it's a printable
Mm-hmm.
character obviously if it's a letter or even a digit, I think. And then here we've got like focus matching option, which is something we need to do. So in here, one of the critical pieces of this, let's start work our way back from the listener. So we've got on key down, right? We got on key down here. We're matching against escape, arrow down, arrow up, tab, enter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every one of them, if they hit that, if the key is actually included, we get into the if branch
Yeah.
in here. But if we don't get into that if branch, what
We
do
want
we
to do
want to
another
do?
check, right?
Yep. But instead of doing any check within here, let's just send out the type ahead event.
Okay. So yeah, basically we're not gonna do the check here. We're gonna do the check in the machine itself, right?
Yeah, you could do it here. You could do it in the machine. I just prefer to always like move those kind of things into the
To the
machine.
machine. Yeah. Yeah. So it's
And then we
consistent.
check if it's a printable character. So we're just gonna send in the event key
Yeah.
along, and then we figure out like what we want to do there.
Okay. So we are sending the type ahead. We
So
got
what we
the.
need to do now is to write a condition to figure out if this is a printable character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that key that we passed along in the event is a printable character. So I think the event is probably the crucial one. Event from there,
Mm-hmm.
and then figure out what piece of regex we need to write.
Yeah. So we can do
um,
like key dot
yeah, one thing I
key
like
is
to
of any.
do. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, we could do A to Z, capital A to capital Z, 0 to 1, and that's it. Oh no, there are also that's just like numbers and letters, but we also have symbols.
Yeah, I want to see if that is something that is yeah. So this is something that's currently implemented in the guide from W3C. So it's something I do a lot. I basically just check through whatever is going on in there.
Mhm.
I'm sure they've got like some code that checks if it's a printable character.
Okay, character. Okay, string from char code. Keys so far. So they're like adding every character to keys so far, and they're trying to match them, but
I
string
think this
from.
find match in range is probably what we're looking for. So find the first item starting with the key so far substring. We're gonna skip this key so far. We will implement that later on.
Mhm.
And then we do like we search in that range looking for the inner text
Mhm.
of whatever. But I think that it's actually important that we constrain this down to something that is a printable character. So let's continue on with the logic in here.
Yeah. I'm not sure what we get. Let me just like log out string from character code and pass the key because that's what they had. Let's just
I
like
think
return.
let's just write the regex. I mean, I'm fine just doing A to Z for now. We can figure out
Okay.
a more sophisticated one later on.
Mhm. Because it logs nothing basically. It
Yeah,
just logs
let's
nothing. Okay,
just
so but if we print out the key should be the native key, right? So
yeah. If we press
oh
O,
1 2 3, yeah, it's a
yeah,
string. Okay, yeah. So we know that the key is a string, right? We can like do match, and now we can add some regex here. So if it's either gonna match 0 to 9, A to Z, or A to Z.
yep, this works. And we can improve this obviously later
Yeah.
on. Let's. I could invert
Okay.
this. I can invert this the other way though, and do like whatever the regex is test against the key.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
the
we don't do the match and then obtain the
yeah.
groups. Yeah.
So I just put
Okay.
this on
Yeah.
a score like so, and it works. All right. So the next thing we want to figure out is, which is where we stop today, is
Mm-hmm.
this focus matching option.
Yeah.
How do we focus the matching option? So what we really need to do here,
We also need to get the event, which
yeah. So
means that
what
only
I'm
the printable events are gonna be passed through, right?
yes. So what I'm really looking for here is like, I mean, the matching option. I'm looking for something like from the DOM method, um, get matching option, passing the context. This is really all I want to do. So I'm going to push that work now. Let's see if you can help us with that one.
Okay. We probably want to get the event as well, right?
Maybe just the ID or the key, actually, the
Yeah.
key that's been sent. Yep.
Okay. Event.key. This does not exist. That's why it's complaining.
Yeah. So
Let's
let's do the
DOM.
implementation. Yep.
Okay. We get the
Context.
context, machine context, and also the key, which is a string.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, oh yeah. So we have the context. We can obtain all of the options from there. Are we looking for like the first, like any occurrence of this key within the options, or are we looking for the first letter match?
Yeah, that's a good question. What exactly are we looking for? I mean, we can look for a couple of things. I know a lot. I mean, this one naive approach is basically to look for the inner text
Yeah.
of that element. Another approach is to check the attributes,
Mm-hmm.
get all the options, find the option whose attribute matches that, and we're basically good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Or and then I think that we can either use the. I think the label makes sense, right? Because even in the select element, you search with the label.
Yeah, I mean that is in the inner texts. We can get the label and we can also get the value, and we'll try to match both of them, right? So we're iterating through the options that we have,
Yep.
and if we find the first element that either matches the label or the value. How do we match
I,
the label with?
I don't think we probably need to check the value because the user only sees the label, right?
Yeah,
And if I'm typing, I mean, I don't need to inspect the DOM to know what the value is. I just want to
yeah,
search with the label what I see. If I'm searching a
yeah.
list of countries, I'm just going to type the country as I see the label and see if I match anyone. So let's for now, I'll say we search with the label.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So we can do context dot
or DOM maybe.
options. Oh yeah, dom dot get options, option elements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get option elements. Here's the context. And we wanna do map or like filter basically, right? Map or filter. Now these two,
Or
the
find.
filter returns that, yeah, or find, yeah.
Oh,
I was
maybe
gonna say
let's
we
do
only need
filter.
a,
Let's do filter. It's fine.
yeah, because I mean find find might be better, you know. So let's get the element. And here's where we want to return something, right? So we want to return the find. And then if the element dot data attribute, so attributes
Data set. Yeah. I think it's
data
actually in
set,
data
right?
set. Yeah. And then the
Yeah,
dot
data set
label.
dot label equals not
Oh,
equals to label is a
contains.
string
Includes. Yeah.
contains
I think it includes, right?
include
Yeah.
includes the key, right?
Yeah. And
We
that's what
just
we
want to
want to
return that.
return. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So one bug with a find though is like if I'm currently focused on one, so what I'm going to do here is I'll just like switch up the options a bit. I'll just make this a list of countries.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let's do here Nigeria. Let's do Macedonia. Let's do here Canada. Um, let's do here United States of America. Yep. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll probably include an emoji in there, so
Yeah.
we can create that complex set of values that our regex can match against or function can match against.
Yeah.
And I'll do Canada here, and then I'll do United States of America, USA. There you go.
Okay.
And G, I don't know what the country code here is. Is it
Okay.
MK? I think this is CAD. I'm not sure. I
Just
think this is US.
yeah.
Or CA maybe. Um,
CA. Yeah.
yeah. So there we go. We've got like all the different countries in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while this is open, if I type N, I think actually to make this a lot more robust, I just add one more that also starts with N. What can we call this one? Let's not use N. Let's do U, right? Or yeah, U is fine. I will call this United Kingdom. Kingdom, right? So UK, like so. We replace that emoji there, and then what we want to do here. The reason why I put this is if I'm here, open the select, press U. U is gonna match United States of America, right? And if I
Mm-hmm.
press U again, it's still
Oh
gonna
wait.
match United States of America. So it's
You
never gonna
need
leave.
you need to shift you instead of you. You're looking for capital. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we need to actually know. I think we should normalize that
Mm-hmm.
function to make sure that we've got like normalize the data set label to lowercase, normalize the key to lowercase, so you don't have to do shift U.
Okay, but let's just like not lowercase the key every time. Key dot to lowercase and
Yep.
just match that to the normalized key. So we don't do normal like
Yeah,
lowercase,
yeah, yeah.
lowercase, lowercase. Okay, let's try that again. You.
So right now
Yeah.
you definitely match U, and if you press U again, you notice that you're not matching the next one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Nice. We just want to jump to the next one.
so we kind of want to like jump to the next matching one. That's why we probably want to use filter,
Mm-hmm.
so that like if we got multiple options, I mean, if we did a filter now, we can jump between
What if,
the
sorry,
matching items.
what if we do this? For example, we have the data set right here, right?
Hmm.
We have the context. What if we like enriched the condition here that not that only includes, but then also this element doesn't is not like is not selected or focused.
Oh yeah,
So it gets to the next one, right? So it doesn't return the element now, even though this is true. So it goes on to the next iteration and picks up on the next one. Would that make sense?
yeah, you do have a point. Let us try that. I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
So
try.
how do we let's see. And right, so this and the elements, because we're working with the DOM here. The elements do not hold the focus, or the no,
Yeah,
they
but the
actually do. They
context
have the
does,
data
right?
focus.
So I mean, we've got like the element ID is not equal to context focus ID. Maybe that's the logic we need.
Yeah,
I mean, of course, this is like once we start doing all this, it gives us a sense that this is something the user wants to get control over. It's
yeah,
not something like we want to just like put in there and it never changes. But we want to at some point give them the control to do this matching logic themselves if they want
yeah.
to.
Okay.
So if we do that now, open it up, press
Mm-hmm.
U, that works nicely.
Very nice.
Okay.
Gerbo asks, what happens if someone types UN expecting to get to United? Yeah, there's like
Yeah, I
it
do
will
have a
jump.
piece of it will definitely jump. I mean, it's
It'll
gonna
jump to
jump to N.
Nigeria, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, and see here we're doing like includes. We could do like, do we want to do includes or we want to start with? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because it's probably like a very weird one where right now I'm pressing N and anything that includes N is going there, and
Yeah.
we're even missing Canada right now. You see, so I mean,
Good point. Yeah.
so at this point, this logic doesn't actually like I mean work hundred
Yeah.
percent. We
It's
do
like
need
toggling
to.
between the first and the second.
Yeah, that's why we have to do the filter. That's what I mentioned
Mm-hmm.
earlier. So that like if we've got like a matching option of like multiple nodes. I mean, if this was like if we did UN for example, or just U, we're gonna be in the US on the UK node, and we should. That's what the filter is gonna give us, and then we could
Yeah.
actually jump between the UK and the US. But instead of going down this route, I think I've got an utility in Zag.js code base. So in the end, what we'll do is to move all this logic over to Zag.js and just use all the rich utilities there.
Okay.
That would actually help us achieve this full type of head that we want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is yeah, that is honestly about it. I'm really excited about what you've done so far. I think it's pretty amazing to see that at least we're able to get pretty far with like all of the logic in there. I think of all the things we figured out the open state. There's a bunch of other states like the focus state currently is not figured out yet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's anything wrong there. But if I do select an option and I press the down key,
Yeah.
nothing is
It doesn't
happening,
happen.
and that's
Yeah.
because in the UI here we're not handling like the key down
On the button. Yeah, because that's where the
on the
focus
button.
is.
So do you want to help us just add that? That's the last thing, and we call it today.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go here. I'm gonna steal the on key down
Yeah, please steal
from the
it.
list, from the list to the actual trigger, but we wanna do arrow up and arrow down.
Yeah,
We
we
wanna
don't want
do
tab. No, we don't want any
tab
of those.
and escape as well, because
Yeah, we don't need
escape.
that. Just the keyboard stuff.
Okay,
You
and
don't need
also
type
no
ahead.
type
Well,
ahead as well.
we'll figure out if you want type ahead in that state though, because that's a fancy thing you want. If it's closed and focused, like you just want to press type ahead to select the option,
Yeah.
and that's a nice fancy thing, I think.
Okay. So it doesn't work. I'm doing up and down, arrow up, arrow down. The event gets sent. Let's see what we're missing. We are in the
It
focused
works for me
state.
though.
Maybe I didn't refresh.
Yeah, you probably have to refresh.
No.
You see my screen?
Yeah.
So I select an option. Now it's in the focus state, and I press down.
Oh, but I focused using tab. Like try that. Refresh and hit tab once.
Refresh, hit tab once.
Tab
Yeah,
and
you can
go
see
up and
that
down.
like you're actually like in the idle state. So
All
you've got
right.
to move to the focus state
First. Yeah.
first, right? So in that, so you see that we're not sending. We've got like the focus event. that we
Mm-hmm.
also need to send from the machine.
That thing
So
as well. Yeah.
yeah, that one on focus, we can then like send that event as well to the machine.
Yes. Can we do just like focus
Yeah, just for
without?
consistency, I like the object
Yeah.
always, but it's fine. So now
Just
if we
for
send the
focusing.
focus event, it should move correctly and everything should work correctly
Yeah. There we
as
go.
you'd
Nice.
expect. Yep.
Awesome.
So yeah, this is awesome. I mean, in three streams, we've been able to sort of like build out at least the backbone of the select component,
Yep.
at least the single select component. I think this was awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Uh, the,
All
the,
right.
the, the subsequent, I'm not sure if we have to do one more stream. I think after this, I'll most likely take this into the code base and wire up all the extra things like the blower, the type of
Mm-hmm.
head. Once you've got those features in, then we can at least maybe come back again with a different component.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you all for joining. I think this was fun.
Oh yeah, it was totally fun. Yeah, like seeing how easy it is to just hook up the machine events and it just works, right? That's what every developer wants to do every day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it takes some getting used to before you actually truly understand these concepts and how it works. But
Mm-hmm.
the cool part is once it works, this machine we've just built now works in Vue.js, works in Solid.js, no extra change required, and that is exactly what I'm so proud of, at least.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, it is. That's the future, man. That is the future, honestly.
Awesome. All
Yeah,
right,
thank you
let's
so much
close
for
out.
watching, everyone. Yeah, see you in another Friday. Maybe the next, maybe the one next after. But keep an eye on our social accounts on Twitter or hit subscribe if you want to get a notification. But yeah, see you around. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.